Neil Young has always been one of the rare musicians who refuses to filter his thoughts. He speaks the truth exactly as he sees it, never dressing his opinions in polite wording. For Young, music is supposed to be pure, spontaneous, and emotionally honest. When he dislikes an album, it's never out of envy or rivalry. It's because he believes the music has lost its authenticity. These 10 albums, according to Young, represent the side of rock he fought against: overly polished productions, corporate formulas, and records made by committees instead of genuine inspiration. 10. Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. When Neil Young first heard Tusk, he felt frustration instead of inspiration. Fleetwood Mac spent more than a year and over $1 million on the album, layering sound after sound until the music felt, in Young's view, cold and artificial. He believed the band tried too hard to be interesting rather than honest. While Young recorded in barns and garages, Tusk sounded to him like luxury polished into lifelessness. He once compared it to watching wealthy people pretend to struggle, a contradiction to everything he valued in music. 9. Hotel California by The Eagles. Young and the Eagles were never destined to agree. When Hotel California dropped in 1976, critics adored it and millions bought it, but Young felt it symbolized the death of authentic California rock. To him, the album was polished to perfection. Too perfect. He said the record was made for people who liked music in the background rather than truly loving it. Even the iconic guitar solo on the title track felt soulless to him, played brilliantly but without the emotional danger rock needed. Young believed the Eagles' focus on success, not truth, and Hotel California was the clearest example. 8. Boston, debut album. Boston's debut sold over 17 million copies, yet to Neil Young, it felt like the most sterile rock ever recorded. He thought the album was so clean, so meticulously produced, that it lost all human warmth. Every guitar tone was perfect, every harmony flawless, so flawless that Young said it sounded like robots pretending to feel emotion. He believed rock needed imperfections to be alive, and Boston's perfection stripped away the soul behind the sound. 7. Escape by Journey. Journey's Escape turned the band into superstars, but Young felt they abandoned their original identity to chase mainstream pop success. He respected Steve Perry's incredible voice, but believed it was used on lyrics that said nothing real. To Young, the shift from progressive rock to radio-friendly anthems felt calculated, not creative. The album's glossy production and processed drum sounds only reinforced his belief that Journey had traded artistry for commercial appeal. Number 6. 4 by Foreigner. Foreigner's album 4 contained huge hits like Jukebox Hero, yet Neil Young found it unbearable. He believed it represented corporate rock at its peak, songs designed to sell rather than express. Everything was balanced, polished, and professionally arranged, but Young felt no real humanity behind the clean production. The album sounded to him like it was assembled piece by piece, leaving no room for spontaneity or emotion. It was the opposite of the raw, live energy he chased. 5. High Infidelity by REO Speedwagon. Young saw REO Speedwagon's High Infidelity as the point where the band became too polished for their own good. He thought the album lacked emotional truth, especially the ballads like Keep On Loving You, which he felt were formula-driven instead of heartfelt. To him, heartbreak should sound messy and vulnerable, not clean, calculated, and ready for radio. At the same time, Young was making strange, challenging albums like Trans. REO was repeating formulas that guaranteed hits. He considered that artistic death. 4. Paradise Theater by Styx. Styx's Paradise Theater was a concept album with huge commercial success, but to Neil Young, it sounded like theatrical fluff pretending to be profound. He found the album overly dramatic, filled with synthesizers and inspirational cliches. Young believed that Styx performed characters instead of expressing real human emotion. To him, rock should be raw and honest, not a Broadway musical in disguise. The album's polished sound and dramatic presentation made it feel artificial. 3. Asia by Asia, debut album. Asia's debut album disappointed Young not because the musicians lacked talent, they came from legendary prog rock groups, but because they used that talent to make safe, predictable rock. He felt the album betrayed everything progressive rock stood for. Instead of innovation, Asia chose catchy but empty songs meant for mainstream radio. Young once said that Asia proved talent without courage means nothing, and this album symbolized that belief perfectly. Number 2. Pyromania by Def Leppard. Def Leppard's Pyromania became a gigantic 80s hit, but Neil Young thought it represented rock turning into a manufactured product. Produced by Mutt Lange with endless layers of guitars and vocals, the album sounded machine-made to him. Young believed that the longer you spent polishing music, the more soul you lose. Pyromania was polished until every human edge disappeared, creating a sound he found empty and overprocessed. 1. Slippery When Wet by Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet was the final straw for Young, the clearest example of what he saw as corporate rock. With hits like Livin' on a Prayer, the album dominated MTV and teenage audiences, but Young felt it had zero authenticity. He saw Bon Jovi as a brand, not a band, selling a safe version of rebellion. He believed the album proved that fake emotion and mass appeal could overshadow truth and artistry. To Young, this album marked the moment rock lost its way completely. These 10 albums, in his eyes, symbolized the glossy commercial direction rock moved toward, and served as a reminder of the raw authenticity he fought to preserve.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.